Don't you feel it growing day by day? People, get ready for the news. Some are happy, some are sad. You gotta let the music play. What the people need is a way to make them smile. Ain't so hard to do if you know how. Gotta get a message, get it on through. I'm going to for a while. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music all the time. You know better everything I say. Meet me in the country for a day. We'll be happy and we'll dance. We're gonna dance our blues away. Feeling good to me. There ain't nothing we can do or say. Feeling good, feeling fine. Baby, let the music play. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music all the time. Like a lazy flowing river, surrounding castles in the sky, and the crowd is growing bigger. Listen for the happy sounds, I gotta let them fly. Listen to the music. Whoa, listen to the music. Whoa, listen to the music all the time. Listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music all the time. Oh, listen to the music. Oh, listen to the music. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, the hardest part is that I am wired and live. And so if I start singing, you start hearing. So here I am lip syncing, dancing away, loving that song. Thank you, David. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unity of Tacoma. My name is Reverend Lori Irwin Johnson, and I use the pronouns she and her. And if this is your first time joining us online or in person, we're so glad to have you with us. And if you've been here before, welcome back. We're so glad to see you and glad that you decided to join us today on this wonderfully wet, beautiful Western Washington day. And I kind of anticipated that. Yesterday it was nice. So that's how it goes here in the Pacific Northwest. It's nice 1 minute, and then it's cloudy, and then it's rainy, and then it's nice. And we just kind of put up with it because it's absolutely gorgeous here. So thank you for joining us and being here on this wonderful day. I'd like to introduce our guest, musical guest. David Robeck is here. He also has a special guest that will be featuring, Candace will be coming up here in just a little bit to be able to join him in some music. And I don't know how many songs you have are coming on, but I'm looking forward to hearing her with him. Today we're going to be talking about what it means to be a refuge for yourself. And so it's kind of an interesting concept, and it rolls into the Easter idea because we are still in Easter season, and I'll go through that when we get to the message. But first, I'd like to start off with a prayer for protection. If you know the prayer for protection, please say it with me. If you're here in the building and you are not familiar with it, please just listen. It's a beautiful prayer. Online, you will have the words for you in front of you. So say it with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And as we sit in prayer, let's take a breath. And just settle into this moment. There is only this moment right here, right now. Feel our bodies in this space and time. And as we sit in this physical space, we go within. We connect with our hearts. Place your hand on your heart and feel it beat, knowing that the source of all things, everything in this entire existence, is within you at all times. Whether you're experiencing joy or sorrow, happiness or pain, the divine is within you, and we can connect with that at any time, any place, just by going within and taking a moment, taking a breath, withdrawing from what's around us, and bringing that energy inside and using it to rejuvenate and to lift us up into this wonderful space of divine essence and consciousness. We are so grateful for this moment, for this time that we're able to be together again, to be able to sit and notice the consciousness that is the divine in all things. We take a breath and we let it out. And as we let it out, we let out the blessing to everything on this earth that needs the support, knowing the energy will feel it and take it in and help wherever it's needed. Again, we're so grateful for this opportunity, knowing that we will move forward with this grace. And so it is. Amen. I'm going to invite David back for another song, and then we'll go into message. Thank you, David.
And here we go. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, 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 hey. In these moments I am given, in situations called to me, I now choose the path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, hey, hey. In these moments I am given, in situations called to me, I now choose the path of living. I now choose to set me free. Everybody, I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, hey, hey. In these moments I am given, in situations called to me, I now choose the path of living. I now choose what sets me free. I do what gives me life. I do what gives me life. Hey, hey, hey. you.
Thank you. What a wonderful morning. I'm just so glad to be here today. It's been a really rough time for me these last couple of weeks. And so it's just such a blessing for me to be here today. And I'll go through that more during our message. But first I'd like to start off with our affirmation. And our affirmation for today: I am my own refuge. Say that with me. I am my own refuge. And our reading for today is The Quest for Wholeness by Robert Brummett. And he says, during medieval times, researchers known as alchemists sought a secret process that they believed would turn base metals, such as lead, into gold. A few of these alchemists, however, were seeking something much more profound. These researchers were studying the processes whereby our base human consciousness could be transformed into a golden spiritual consciousness. They saw that human life is the laboratory wherein this process takes place. And they saw that every human challenge is an opportunity for converting the lead of our human personality into the gold of spiritual essence. We will see that every experience of suffering is an opportunity for transformation, and each one of us can be an alchemist. We are essentially spiritual beings. Our inherent nature is perfect wholeness. Our inherent nature is thus because we are, in reality, individualized expressions of God, which is wholeness itself. In our human experience, we unknowingly abandon this awareness of our true nature and live in the dreamlike awareness of the human mind and the human senses. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. Our work is to discover ourselves as spiritual and human at the same time. Our humanness is an expression of our spirituality, and we can know this intellectually. That is a good start, but it's not enough. We must bring the knowledge of our spiritual nature right into the core of our human awareness. And our spiritual lessons for today, we have 3 of them, actually. First one is Psalm 16:1. Protect me, O God, for in you I take refuge. The second one is be islands unto yourselves, refuges unto yourselves, seeking no external refuge, and that is the Buddha. And finally, one of my favorite authors from Richard Bach, there is no such thing as a problem without a gift for you in its hands. So happy second Sunday of Easter. Now, how many of you know that Easter season goes on past Easter? Easter was last Sunday, the first Sunday of Easter. There are 6 total Sundays of Easter, and today is Easter number 2. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it's really interesting, because people think, the resurrection happens, the Easter bunny comes, and then we move on. There's no more Easter. We're moving on to the next holiday. So it's really cool, though. This time, this 6 weeks that kind of gets pushed out of the existence and the understanding of people, especially in Christianity, because Jesus does some extremely cool stuff. He does the supernatural, metaphysical, cool stuff that happens without us really paying attention. And they don't emphasize it much in a lot of churches. What's Jesus doing? I mean, he was resurrected, yes, and now he's walking around doing all this fun stuff. I mean, he comes into the room and he'll just appear, or he'll walk through walls, or he appears as someone else. And then he appears as himself and he disappears again. And where I think it really gets really interesting. Second Sunday in Easter, though, talks a lot about what happened to his disciples the day after he was persecuted and the resurrection supposedly happened. The disciples had gathered together, but fearful for the Jews, had locked all the doors in the house. Jesus entered, stood among them, and said, "Peace to you." Then he showed his hands and his side. So for those of you who know the story, you know that he was crucified and he would have had holes in his hands from being nailed to the cross. And then he also would have had a hole in his side that was from the spear of the Roman who actually speared him to make sure he was dead. The disciples, seeing the master with their own eyes, who was obviously dead before, they were awestruck. Not only were they awestruck because they came in all of a sudden after being crucified, but he appeared in the room. The room was locked, so he just came right in. And he repeated his greeting, "Peace to you. Just as the Father sent me, I send you." So this is the next day after the resurrection, and they're hiding out. They're scared. They are worried that they're going to get arrested and the same thing's going to happen to them. And so they hid in this locked room together. And they were meeting in secret, and they were been into a situation where you've had something come totally out of the blue, and then the next day you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? They were stressed. They were fearful. And they hid so they could stay safe. And they also hid because they needed to heal from that trauma. Can you imagine being someone who your friend went through this experience, terrible experience, where he was crucified, and the next day you don't know what's going to happen? And then he shows up out of nowhere. He just appears in the room. And poof, there's Jesus in front of you. This reminds me of a contemporary story for those of you who are interested in movies and those of you who watch movies like me and my family. It reminds me of the Marvel movie Endgame. How many people have seen that? Probably quite a few out there. So in the very final series, I'm not going to give it away, so if you ever wanted to watch it, but in the very final 3-hour movie, this movie is 3 hours long, but in the last one, they're all sitting around. They had just lost half of their friends. 50% of the population was gone. Half of their friends just poof, disappeared. And they were hiding out. Each one of them were hiding in this time period where they didn't know what they were doing. They were in limbo. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know who to see. They didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden, who appears but their friend who they thought was lost? Iron Man, who to me represents Jesus in the whole series, but we could argue about that if you wanted to. He comes back from outer space, and he comes back, and he gives hope to the people that are there, and it reignites them. It gives them something to do, something to think about, and the Iron Man, who created all of the universe to begin with, is back, and they're relying on his help to help them be able to save their friends. So that's a contemporary idea of the same thing. They were all hiding out. They all had a problem that they were dealing with together, and they were trying to see what was going to happen. They were waiting to see if something would occur. Animals will hide when they're sick. They will hide when they're stressed. For those of you who know me or have been into a Zoom meeting with me, know that I have a cat named Georgia. Now, Georgia, if you come to my house and visited me and came over and sat down and had coffee with me, there is no way she would come out and see you. No way. She hides. She's very timid. She doesn't want anything to do with people. And so but if you are on Zoom and you are on a Zoom meeting, she is right there, front and center. Happy to see you, happy to get my attention, just loves everybody because she knows that she's safe in this environment. She's kind of hid behind the glass. Well, a couple weeks ago, she was sick, and she has a virus that can get reactivated. When we adopted her from the Humane Society that she had this virus that she carries, and she will carry her entire life, that can be reactivated, that causes upper respiratory infections. So for the past 6 years, we had no trouble with her. She'd had nothing but maybe one runny eye or maybe two, and a couple sneezes here and there, but nothing really serious. But all of a sudden, just a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what the trigger was because they say stress triggers it. She started getting sick. She's just started, just terrible, runny eyes and nose and coughing. I've never heard a cat cough like that. It was just awful, and she was sick for an entire week. And she spent all of her time hiding behind the couch, hiding under the bed, hiding. Her favorite place was behind the heater. and just stayed there for an entire week and barely came out to see us. And when I was on Zoom, and that's what I do most of the time, I'm on Zoom for work, she didn't even come. She didn't come to the screen. She's sick if she didn't want to be in the center of attention on screen. And so she was super sick. So she knew that she needed to hide in order to get herself to go within, to get herself rejuvenated so she could fight off this virus that she has. Anyway, so we knew this was going to happen, but it's still scary when you have, I love her like my children, so, I just get as much stressed out about my cat as I do when my family gets sick. So, interestingly enough, just at the same time, I found out that I also have a virus that I've carried for years and years and years that got reactivated a couple of weeks ago. And I didn't even know you could even get this type of virus. I mean, everybody gets it. But I didn't even know that some of us can have it and have it chronically and it can get reactivated. So at the same time, I was also trying to care for myself, and I was also hiding out at home, also taking care of myself, trying to rejuvenate, doing a lot of meditation and prayer. And so interestingly enough, there's right now, in this period in time, right after Easter, right after, here in the springtime when things start to rejuvenate, start to come out, we know that time of hiding, that time of being in the dark, that time of rejuvenation is really important for transformation. Now, as I was saying, the story of Jesus and the story of Iron Man and the story of my cat and the story of me all represent this time of rejuvenation, this time where we are being reborn. And we become then the alchemists of our new experience. We've created this healing and wholeness, this availability to this energy that's always there within us. And we take this time to go within, to retreat, to get into a space, and we become our own refuge. We have magic within our bodies that create this wonderful experience of life. And sometimes, of no fault of our own, we get into the humanness takes over. And our bodies decide, okay, this is time for whatever this is, this cold or this flu or whatever. That's not of anybody's fault. And one of the things I think that we happen here oftentimes is we think about when we are prosperous and we're manifesting our own destinies, we worry that we've manifested this negativity in our lives, that we worry that this is what's happened and that we've done it to ourselves, and absolutely that is not the case. Sometimes, as it was saying before, we are both human and divine. And so the humanness of us, just like Jesus' story, the humanness of him caused his suffering. The humanness of us also can cause us suffering. But when we get into that humanness space, we can remember the divinity by going within. And going within the refuge of our own selves, remembering to connect with the divine. Remember to connect with that Christ consciousness. In Buddhism, to take refuge is to be part of and kind of be initiated into the Buddhist tradition. And they focus on what they call 3 jewels. The jewels are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And they choose, when they do this refuge, they choose that they are taking a spiritual path. This is a conscious effort, that they are connecting to a higher power and they're letting go of the physical form and the material essences of this worldly existence. And so they talk about the first jewel being the Buddha. And the Buddha consciousness is what they're talking about. And the Buddha consciousness is like the Christ consciousness. It's a state of being where you go within through prayer, through meditation, in states of ecstasy and enlightenment, and trying to get to that space and holding that space for as long as you can, so your body remembers who you truly are. It's not the physical form. It is a spiritual being having a human experience. So when you get into this space of meditation and prayer, it pulls you into and reminds you of who you are. The second jewel is the Dharma. And the Dharma are all the practices and the lifestyle and the things that you do that remind you on a daily basis of who you are. And then it's not the things that you own, it's not the people that you know, but that comes in Sangha, so that's a third one. It's not all of the things that you want. It's all of the things that you are inside of you. That is part of the Dharma, and you live that, and you express that in the world. The third jewel is the Sangha, and this is where your community comes in. And this is why it was so important for me to come back when I was starting to feel better, and then I would have days where I was bad and then days where I was good. I really wanted to get here because I needed my community. I needed the people. A Sangha is your community of like-minded people. And when you get with other people and pray and meditate with the like consciousness, you lift each other up. And my consciousness needed that. It needed to be higher than it was when I was sitting at home, stuck in my body, trying to be conscious. But when I come here and I listen to the wonderful music and I see all the wonderful faces and I hear all of the wonderful affirmations, I know that this is where I am, and it reminds me of who I am. And so I need that Sangha, that community. And that's what our community is so wonderful, and all communities in essence. If you belong to a community, it makes you healthier, it makes you more resilient, and it ultimately serves as a catalyst for happiness. So it's a little plug for being part of our community. The story of Jesus' followers, then, is a great metaphor for what we experience at these times in our lives when we are sick, or when we're struggling, or we're going through a stressful time. This metaphor of, yes, we're together, we're struggling, but we're together and we're struggling together. And then as we're together through this process, then the appearance of the Christ comes out of our Dharma, comes out of our practices, comes out of our meditations, comes out of our prayer. So this is a metaphor for that Christ consciousness is the Buddha jewel, and the way that Jesus taught us is the Dharma, and the community here at Unity is that Sangha. And we need that in order to be able to get through what it is we get through. All of us, I don't care who you are, whether you are the Dalai Lama, if you've heard any of that going on in the news lately, he struggles with things, and whether he wants to or not. We all struggle because we have humanness. Even though we're spiritual beings, we still have the human experience. So there are times when we struggle, and we need to just be reminded that we have that Christ consciousness within us, and that refuge within us is what's going to save us. And that's going to take us to the next level. So although we hide sometimes, and that we know that we get sick and we start getting hunkered down and we get our blankets out and we start to watch Netflix and don't want to answer the phone, these are important for your well-being, for you to be able to heal. It's not that you don't love those people that are trying to call you or you don't want to talk to them. It's just that you need to save your energy in order to heal. We all struggle. And we need to understand that this is a time, these times of struggle are times when we become alchemists and we become reborn each and every time. We got this situation that is the lead that they were talking about. And then we create the gold through our practices and through our faith and through our community. We live the way of Christ. I had to learn this lesson. My cat had to learn the lesson. Jesus' followers had to learn the lesson. And, the Marvel Universe needed to learn the lesson when Iron Man came back. So I use this to remind us all just to go through the practices. Remember, even though you may not have time during the day, you may think, I got so many things to do. I don't have the 10 minutes to sit down for prayer meditation. Do that, because it is the source. It is the source of your well-being. And even if you're not sick today, someday that may come back. Hopefully it's not the case, but someday you might need those reserves. So build up a reserve for yourself today. So when you get to a point where you are in a place of conflict or struggle, that you have that available to you. The climactic conclusion of the Iron Man movie, the end game, And I'm not going to give it away because I cried at the end, and I won't tell you why. After everyone returns, triumphantly, everyone comes together as a group in the end to fight off the evil. And they come together, and Iron Man saves the world. And that is the point of the teaching of the second Sunday of Easter. That there's always that Christ consciousness with us, and usually is enhanced within community. And then once we are in community, we can fight off all of the things that are negative and be able to push those aside. So even though Iron Man is not a real person and Jesus is an ancient person, we understand that these metaphors still work for us today. All we have to do is remember who we truly are as spiritual beings having a human experience, and that we all stumble, and that sometimes we fall, but we can get back up, and we can do so, and we can help each other to do it in community. In a few moments, we're going to go into meditation, and we're going to go into meditation where we're going to pair up. So let's see. I think we have enough people to pair up, and we're going to do some healing for each other. But first, I'm going to have David come back for another song. And then if you could, while they're singing, and I think we have featuring Candace will be coming up. I was watching Coachella yesterday, and so there were lots of bands that were featuring other people. And I'm like, when they're singing together, aren't they just singing together? I don't understand that concept. I'll have to ask Kamai in a minute. So, yes, thank you.
Sorry for we needed to take a break. Fix the microphone here. Anyway, you'll recognize this song and join in if you'd like. You who are on the road must have a code that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell did slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they pick, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh. And know they love you. And you, of tender years, can't know the fears that your elders grew by. So please, help them with their youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they pick, the one you'll know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you would cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. and know they love you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much. All right. Well, we're going to go into meditation. Whatever position you're comfortable in, if you wanted to sit on the couch or if you here in the audience, we also have couches. For those of you online who don't know, we have couches and chairs and it's really comfy here. So if you wanted to sit on the couch next to each other, but I would like you to get into pairs if you could. If for those of you who are online that do not have a pair, that's fine. You can bring somebody to your mind's eye, and you can be part of that. The reason we're going to pair up is because we're going to do some healing today. I think we all need a little bit. So be prepared. If you would like, you can rub your hands together, and just to bring that energy back into your body, just building that up. And take a breath. All right, and just get into that space of relaxation and love. You can feel each other's energies. You're with each other. And even if you're not like right in front of us face to face, you are within 6 feet of each other. You are within the space of energy and love. See, there's no end to your consciousness. It goes on and on and on. But because we are still in our physical forms, we have to get into a space of meditation first. So we can let that physical form drop away. So get more and more relaxed, allowing your body just to feel really heavy. And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to, in your mind's eye, I'd like you to vision this light that's in your forehead. And just bring your eyes up, and they can be closed, to be able to look as if you're seeing that light. Just bring your eyes up to that wonderful light and focus on that for just a minute. Allowing yourself to breathe. And that light is a light of consciousness. Allowing your body, the awareness of your body, to slip away. And even though you allow your body to become its own entity outside your consciousness, it is completely safe. It will do what it needs to do. That's the beauty of the brain. It keeps your body safe. But right now, your consciousness is focusing on the energy of healing. And so as you bring this energy, as it becomes bigger and bigger in your body, you allow it to permeate your cells, to allow it to go beyond, to leak out into the environment, to the person next to you and the people sitting around you. It never depletes you when you use the light of consciousness to heal another. It heals you as you heal. So remember that you will never be depleted as long as you are connected with that Christ consciousness, knowing that that energy is always there, that healing is always there, and you have that refuge inside yourself. And as you share this energy with others, they can feel it. They can feel it in their hearts. And as they feel it, it expands. And imagine if we all did this. If everyone expanded their consciousness to heal another, how much healing in this world would happen? And just sit in this light of awareness, knowing that the healing is happening through you and as you, allowing you to be whole and helping another to remember who they are. Reminding each of you of where you came from and where you can always go. So when you drop away from the material world for just a moment, you connect with that each and every time through prayer, through meditation. Take a breath. And with gratitude, just send out love. Say, I love you out loud. Knowing that the person that needs to hear that will know and feel that in their hearts. Knowing that you have provided the light of God to each and every person that you meet. Take a breath. And don't detach from that energy. Just remember that you can stay connected as you reconnect with your body. As you bring your awareness back into this space, knowing that you can take that Christ consciousness with you, it can be the catalyst, the driver of your day. Take another breath. Begin to feel your body. Begin to attach to it again. But keep yourself anchored in that Christ consciousness. Take another breath. Bring your consciousness fully back to your body, feeling yourself on the chair that you're sitting on. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. And again, don't forget your connection to the divine. As we're infants, we're born and we are connected fully with the divine when we come into this world. But as we become more and more physical, we forget who we truly are. We are now reminded of where we came from and where we can always go. And it can be the catalyst for who we are. Amen. Thank you so much. And I'm going to have David come back for another song. Thank you.
A song by Mark Stanton Welch called Strength. I have strength to meet the moment life lays in my hands. Through the pain I grow, I learn to take each step I can. All my thoughts, my words, my actions serve to keep me strong. Spirit triumphs over matter, strength is my song. I have strength. I have strength to meet the moments life lays in my hands. Through the pain I grow, I learn to take each step I can. All my thoughts, my words, my actions serve to keep me strong. Spirit triumphs over matter, strength is my song. Strength is my song. I have strength to meet the moments life lays in my hands. Through the pain I grow, I learn to take each step I can. All my thoughts, my words, my actions serve to keep me strong. Spirit triumphs over matter, strength is my song. Is my song. A song called Strength.
I love that. All right. Well, we come to the portion of our service where we open our hearts to give. All donations that we receive here at Unity of Tacoma go to support the missions and ministries and the musicians that we have here. And we're so grateful for anything that you can offer to help support us in our outreach programs. And there are so many ways you can give. You can go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/Unity of Tacoma, and you can give there. And I believe that'll take you to PayPal, but I'm not exactly sure. But you can give there. It's a wonderful place to give. You can go to our website at unityoftacoma.org/donate to give via PayPal there. You can donate using Zelle, using our telephone number, 253-576-3225. Or you can mail a check to Unity of Tacoma, P.O. Box 112289, Tacoma, Washington, 98411. And as we prepare to give, I'd like you to hold the intention of giving and receiving, circulating through your hands, holding it and visualizing this circulation abundance flowing through you and as you. And as Jesus said in Luke 6:38, give and you will receive. You will be given much, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It will spill into your lap. The way you give to others is the way God will give back to you. And as you visualize holding this gift within your hand, please repeat after me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for my blessings today, and I am grateful in every way. And so it is. Amen. May the blessings of your gifts bring so many blessings back to you. We are so grateful for everyone here at Unity of Tacoma. So we have some announcements. We haven't had some very exciting announcements, but I'm back, so we'll have some exciting announcements. So next week, we are celebrating Earth Day. And so I have some really fun stuff planned for next week. We're going to do a water communion. If you've never done that, that's interesting. You'll enjoy that. We're also going to talk about possibly doing some planting around here. And do you want me to announce that, or you want to find out for sure if that's cool? We got to find out for sure. We got to get permission and make sure that it's okay. But our plan is to do some planting. So please come, and we will be able to contribute to this wonderful planet. Not that it doesn't contribute all by itself, but we can try to give back a little bit. Next week, and Christine S. Young is our musicians next week. On April 30th, I would like to come back and re-look at our World Cafe. And so if we could do that after church on the 30th, our special musical guest that day is Haley Bell. So if you were here when Haley was here, if you heard Haley when you were online, she'll be back with us on that day, and I'm really excited to have her. She really is excited to be part of the outreach programs that we have here and to be able to give. She has a wonderful family of beautiful boys that would love to be able to give, so that she's going to be helping out with that as well. We are looking at, too, we will be also doing our sandwiches. Again, I need to talk to our coordinator about that to make sure that the date is coming up correctly. We usually do that at the beginning of the month, but I don't have a date solidified yet. So as soon as I do, I will send out an email, I will put it on Facebook, and I will let you know for sure when we're going to be doing that. So please keep track. What we usually do is we make sandwiches for the homeless, and we usually make 100, and we try to make the whole lunch so they can have, whether it be chips or fruit and water bottles, and sometimes we do cookies and things like that, and candy, and just make their lives a little bit easier. I know that it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you don't have anything, when you're struggling, a sandwich and some candy is a really cool thing. So please come help us. And again, watch out for that. It's usually the first Saturday, but I haven't got the word on that yet. So keep that in your consciousness that we're going to be doing that next month. And our benediction is also from Robert Brunette from The Quest for Wholeness. And he says, in our experiences of suffering, we are called on to struggle, to search, to surrender in ways we would not consider if we were not given this assignment. When life is unfolding uncomfortably and according to expectations, we have less of incentive to search for the same zeal as we were when we are motivated, when we are suffering. This experience of disease is an opportunity to awaken. It is an opportunity to come into a deeper and fuller realization of who and what we truly are. Through the practices of non-resistance and holding the vision of a gift within the problem, we turn apparently stumbling blocks into stepping stones for transformation. By not resisting our crucifixions, we open the door for our resurrections. I want to thank everyone for joining us this morning, for being here. I'm so glad to see everyone here and everyone online. So glad that you're here and decided to join us. I'm going to have David come back. We're going to sing our peace song. So if you would like to stand, please do so and sing along. Thank you, David.